Hi everybody, it's Gail from Blue Rose Paper Treasures, just to give you a quick tutorial on this multi-layered box card. I'll get started right away. Alright, I have tried to use just the one stamp set bundle, which is the Merriest Moments, and I've stamped a lot of images, which I'll show you. And I've used the Merriest frame dies. I've actually lost the die that goes with that. I've lost it. I must have gone into the rubbish bin. So I've tried to do something without using that die, and I think I'm going to be successful. So we'll get started. Alright, I've done a mock-up box just to get me started, so I knew how to assemble it. You've got the, I'll give you all the measurements as we go through, and it's a nice little box that stands up and it will fold flat both ways if assembled properly. My first one wasn't right, but I think I know what I did wrong. Alright, so you've got side panels and the back panel there, and I'll go through all that. So that's what we're going to be assembling today, how to assemble this box, not the actual decoration because I haven't done that yet. Alright, what I've initially done, I've chosen my colours and I'm going with red, white, gold and green. I've just stamped and die cut a whole bunch of images from this Merriest Moments stamp set. I've done 6 of everything. I don't know what I'll use yet because I haven't finished it. And I've done some gold berries, the gold berry things. And there's actually 2 die sets that have this in it. There's a bigger one that's in the poinsettia dies, and there's a smaller, finer one that actually came out of the Christmas trimmings dies. But they'll be in the product list. So you can use either one. I've just done a couple of both. I'm not sure. So I've used the colours that I have used. I just went with real red for the flowers and the berries and cardstock. I've used Daffodil Delight for the centres of the flowers, Shaded Spruce for all the fernery, and I've also used Soft Succulent for some of the other pieces. So they're the colours that I have used. So let's get to assembling the box. One more thing, I've used the Gilded Gems to go with the gold foil berries, and I've used them in the centre of the little flowers down here. They're very tiny. I've lost the back of that one. I don't know where that went. So I've used that. And I've also used the Tasteful Textile embossing folder for the side panels and the Merriest frame. So that hybrid die, I've lost it. That whole die. I have no idea where it is, and it's a shame because I don't want to have to buy the whole lot just to get that die. But at least I can still use the other pieces out of it. Alright, so I'll pop them to the side. Alright, first panel is 8 by 6, and you're just going to score it at 2 and 6 on the long side. Right, so that's 8, 6, and you're just going to score it 2 and 6. And we're just going to fold those over and burnish them. Nope, just make sure it's still recording. So that was your base of your card. Your dividers in the middle, they are, I've lost them. Right, here they are. Alright, so they're all 5 inches wide, and you'll need 4 panels. So you got one that's 4 7/8, so they're 5 inch wide. So you've got one that's 4 7/8 high, and you've got 3 7/8 and 2 7/8 and 2 inches. And we're going to do the same thing. They are all scored at 1/2 inch on both ends. I should have already done that. Okay. Alright, so the easiest way, actually we've got to do our side panels. Alright, so if you have a look, we've got to cut out a piece on each side. So all you do is you measure up 2 inches from the side on both sides. And we're just going to trim from there up to the first score line. You do the same thing on the other side, 2 inches, and then you can either trim it or just use your scissors. I'm just going to use my scissors and hope I get a nice straight line because it's a bit of a dark colour. Oh, I'll try it that way. You probably can't see that pencil line because I can barely see it. Alright, so there we have it. So that's a nice score line because they're meeting in the middle where they're supposed to meet. Alright, so we're going to put the back panel on first, and they're simply all going to layer on top of each other and attach to the side. Wet glue is the best. I watched a couple of other videos and they sort of attached it by placing it down there. I actually found it easier if you just attach it while it's the sides are up. So some wet glue, probably not that much, this is a new bottle so it's a bit squishy. I'm going to get glue everywhere, and you're just going to line it up flush with the bottom, and the wet glue will give you a little bit of wiggle room. And then just hold it in place. And while it's still wet, just make sure that it folds left and right flat, and that'll help you to position it. Don't worry that glue's come out because we're going to put the next panel there. Alright, that's the first one done. Gets a bit trickier as you go and do the next layer. We'll do this one. I'm doing this a bit quick, so I'm hoping that this will all work out. Alright, a little bit of wet glue on both sides. Slide it in. You really do need to be accurate with your trimming on this. Alright, so that's flush against that one. So I'm just going to pop it down. All the time making sure that it folds flat, and I'm getting glue everywhere. Of course I am. Alright, so that's going flat. You probably should wait till the glue dries a bit more, but we would be here all day. Alright, next layer. Pop the sides in. And just slide it in, making sure it's flush with the bottom. Oh, that one's causing a bit of problem. Alright, so you can see the bottom, they're all lining up. Carefully lay it down. Oh, that one slipped a bit. Slipped a bit. And it's going to lay flat, so it'd be able to be popped into a big 6x6 envelope. Alright, last layer. Just measure it first. And I see how it's popping out a little bit at the side. It's a little bit too long, so just grab your snips and just snip off a little bit on each side. Test it again. Alright, and that's going to lay flat with the sides. And repeat. Alright, can't see that. Repeat. And then pop that last one in. Oh, that one doesn't want to sit. Just pop it down. And there we have it. It would be better if it was drier. That one's moved. It gets a bit fiddly when you get to the last one, but it can be done. Alright, and there you have it. And there's your panel, your little box, multi-layered tiered box, ready to decorate. So what we need to do now is put our panels on there, our layers. So you need 5 layers, and they're all 3 3/4 wide. I have got 2 that are 3 inches, and I'm just going, you could put the panels on before, but I like to make sure the box works before I waste all this and by attaching it first. So you'll have a 3-inch panel will just sit there, 3-inch wide, a 3-inch deep there. They don't need to be the full height. Oops. And then you have 2 1/2, and then you have 2 1/4, and I've left the last one plain for the front because I'll probably pop a sentiment on that. I haven't actually done the box yet, but this is just what I've done so far. Now what I've done with these, after I've trimmed the sizes, I'll pop them out because I've got glue on my fingers, I ran them through the embossing folder, and because you're only going to see the top bit poking out, I just put 2 pieces on at the same time, a bigger one and a smaller one, and I just embossed so I could get that pattern on the top and the bottom. So you're not going to see all this because it's going to be tucked down behind, but I just wanted to show a little bit of the pattern from the embossing folder. That's optional. I just want to use it. Alright, so there's all your layers. They're all 3 3/4 wide, and I'll just quickly, well, I don't need to quickly put them on because that's fairly easy. So you'll just glue them, slide them in. I'll do one. I'm a big tweezers girl, and I'm lucky, yeah. I use tweezers for everything, so I don't get the glue everywhere. And then you'll just slide it in. Right. Yeah, so it's just a bit easier, and it saves wastage if your box doesn't turn out, because my first one was shocking, and you can just put your panels in after that. So as you'll see, you can't see that little box design there because there'll be all flowers and everything. So the plan is to decorate it. Alright, so that. Your side panels, these are exactly the same as when we trimmed the box itself. There's 2 side panels. They're 5 1/2 high by 1 3/4, and you actually do the same thing. If you're using Designer Series paper, you just put them back to back. So imagine that was a Designer Series paper. You just put them back to back and then trim them at the same time. So, but I just use plain. Alright, so same thing. Mark 2 inch from the bottom and go up to the corner. And then you can trim those both together. So that's your side panels. And I've just embossed mine with the Tasteful Textile. So that would go on your side panel there, and one on the other side. And then the back, your back panel, it's up to you. Back panel, to measure it, was 5 3/4 by 3 3/4. This was just a piece I had, which is just a little bit smaller. And then I've just put something on there to write your personal greeting on it. So that is the quick demonstration on how to assemble the box. Do a sample one first, like I did, using some old cardstock, until you get the hang of putting the dividers in. It kind of looks like a bookshelf now in a library, or a catalogue stand. Alright, so that's it for today. You'll see the finished product at the end. I won't be doing all the bits I put on it. You've seen everything that I have stamped and die cut, so I'll just be assembling that somehow, and you'll see that on the post, on the finished product. Okay, you'll have all the measurements and everything, and that's all there is. So I shall chat to you later. Bye.